It's been rough for Bitcoin, at one point trading over 60% down from its all-time high. Crypto markets in extreme fear right now. But what if the worst is over? And what if the Bitcoin bulls are getting ready to deliver an epic 2022? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. Let's just jump into the video. This is it. The Fear and Greed Index 13. I have to start with this. I mean, this is foundational to what we're about to talk about. Every time, if you look back, every time when Bitcoin is in this range, and I'm not going to say every time it's in this range, it bounces and we enter a bull market or something like that. I'm going to say this, though. Every time, and I've been in the crypto social arena for years, posting videos almost every day. Every time we're here, the negative sentiment, first off, the negative sentiment is so high, but the belief that crypto is going to enter a bull run or something, or Bitcoin's going to start going up, that belief, it's just not there. People don't want to believe it. And so even right now, as I post a video like this, people will not want to open their mind to a potential bottoming out for these markets. But the data is pretty powerful when we're talking about the bottoming out range for Bitcoin. Before we jump into that data real quick, this is the Fear and Greed Index, right? So you can see we're hovering down here in the 13 range. We're at this really all-time low range that we've been in before. There are two areas on this chart that I want to discuss. March 2020, which was a COVID swing low. This was a highly volatile, highly fearful time for the whole world. And here Bitcoin was trading in that range. Most people then thinking, oh, this is bad. This is going to get bad. And we know what happened after that. Crypto went absolutely crazy. Markets went crazy with the injection of stimulus and the recovery coming out of COVID. And then we have the 2018 bear market all the way back here. The Fear and Greed Index, the fear at the same region, right? Look at that, 13, 14, all in the region where it is right now. And the reason those two areas are important for me, and you can see Bitcoin down from its all-time high, of course. The reason it's important to me is because those times when we were at these previous high fear areas, it was after the 20-week moving average crossed below the 50-week moving average, that green line below the blue line. And that's where we are right now, not to mention Bitcoin being at a long-term Fibonacci higher low support area, a 618 right around $27,000 to $28,000, this support area. We know Bitcoin can form a bottom right now pretty much within this range. This is what's happened in previous cycles. This is a huge data point that I use in my Bitcoin technical analysis. Now, I know, so here's the thing. This is what it is. And I know there's a lot of people out there that might be watching this video and they might be saying, hey, well, what about the stock market? What about traditional markets? What about, the craziness and everything going on in the world right now? So this is a great article. This is a great case for not only crypto, but for traditional markets, equity markets as well, to see a recovery. So the stock market will recover all of its 2022 losses by year end as the economy avoids recession and Ukraine risks lessen. What if that happens, everybody? What if the stock market recovers? What if crypto recovers? What if the recession doesn't happen like everybody says it's going to happen? And what if the Ukraine Russian war subsides and cools off and ends? So the stock market is poised to erase all of its losses and finish the year flat. This is the JP Morgan's Marko Kolanovic. So Kolanovic reiterated his view in a note on Wednesday that the U.S. will avoid a recession this year thanks to a strong U.S. consumer, a continued post-COVID economic reopening around the world, and the reopening of China's economy following stringent COVID-19 shutdowns. The big risk for markets is still the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has roiled commodity markets and led to ongoing supply chain disruptions. But Kolanovic said he expects a settled solution to the conflict to materialize in the second half of this year. Now, this is a part of the article I wanted to read. Inflation is likely on the verge of peaking due to temporary and year-over-year comparable effects, which should give the Fed some breathing room to take a break in its interest rate hikes ahead of U.S. midterm elections, according to Cardano. So what happens then? The increasing interest rates that we've been seeing happening, and that's really been bringing markets down. It's really been making, investors extremely uncertain and antsy and nervous. What happens if all of a sudden that kind of subsides, and going into midterm elections, going into fall, going into the end of a year, that is not the worry, that is not the concern. And then lastly, while a recession in our view will not happen, these stocks that are trading near all-time high, and this is the case for crypto in my view, the stocks that are trading near all-time high valuations are not a hedge for any scenario. If there is a recession, multiples will go down. And if there is no recession, there will be rotation out of these stocks into higher beta, smaller capitalization market segments in both growth and value. And I would add to that crypto. The adoption that we're seeing in crypto and the solution that I think retail on the traditional side is beginning to see, and not only retail, right? But the solution that is beginning to be seen by the other side of investments outside of crypto is just growing, right? So in the scenario where we're not in a recession and maybe the stocks like Amazon, these high cap stocks that are still, they're still up there, become less popular, what will become popular? And in my view, it will be Bitcoin, it will be crypto. Excuse me. And as he's also saying smaller capitalization market segments in both growth and value. So crypto as a whole, everybody, is like just over $1 trillion market cap. This is still early, right? And here's the S&P 500 index. It's got, it's been down 20% or so at its lowest, and we're getting this bounce to the upside. This could be a volatile recovery for sure. We could start testing, higher low areas. We could test the previous low right here on the S&P 500 index. But the formation of the bottom very well for the rest of this year could be in with a rally in play to the upside. And if that happens, Bitcoin, crypto, in my view, will likely be seeing a similar move to the upside. Be ready, though, for the volatile bottom formation, especially as you see Bitcoin trading the 618. We can fall into this range, especially if S&P 500 and traditional, I don't know why I just say S&P 500, but just equity markets in general, if they're volatile, if they're seeing more downside, at the very least in a bottom forming type of formation, we can anticipate Bitcoin potentially even falling into this range, right? So be careful for that. But the worst is over, in my view, because look at this. This has been months and months and months and months of downside, over 60% losses for Bitcoin. It's time for the bottom to form, and it's time for potentially Bitcoin to turn around. This is my view. We know how low things can go, but this is kind of how I'm watching the markets. And I think this data and this more positive outlook on the markets from Cardano is pretty useful in terms of identifying the rest of 2022 bullish potential, the bullish scenario, because not many people are talking about that. Because once again, as we started the video, when we get in these ranges on the fear and greed index and fear is very high, people don't want to believe that it could happen. So this is the case, everybody. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. So if you're looking for a financial advisor, I am not that person. Go find one. But this is data that I think we should track. And it's optimistic data, right? Call it hopium, call it whatever you want. But 2022 could really heat up, could get very, very epic. But time will tell. We will see. Let me know your thoughts below. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.